It's another week. It's another Paolo Banchero appreciation post or episode. Why Paolo's doing something that we always expected him to. It's just good to see it again today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is March 22nd, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, all that talk about Paolo Banchero taking a step back this year, yeah, throw that completely out the window. Paolo Banchero is back on track, and he showed that again in a blowout win over the Washington Wizards. We'll talk about that game and where Paolo is at coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic an even bigger part of your day with the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter, the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. So I won't be writing one today. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Way back at the beginning of the season, way back at the beginning of this thing, we expected Paolo Banchero to take a pretty sizable leap. We expected Paolo Banchero to kind of make a statement of intent. He had all these questions about him, about his efficiency, about his shot selection, but in the playoffs, he rose to the occasion. In the playoffs, he should have shown everybody why he is the kind of central piece of this puzzle, why he is so critical, and why the Magic are absolutely right to be patient and let him go through the normal growing pains that a superstar goes through. The playoffs should have been proof that Paolo is going to be one of the top players in this league, and a player that the Magic can and should be building around. The first 5 games of the season, Paolo Banchero came out of the gate storming, averaging 29 points per game, putting up a 50-point game. Against the Indiana Pacers, shooting 49.5% from floor and a respectable, and improved for him, 34.4% from three. The Magic were 3-2 before the oblique injury happened, but the Magic looked like a different team. They looked like a team that had that dude, that guy. But of course, the injury happened. Paolo Banchero missed the next 2 months with the oblique injury. He struggled to come back. From his return on January 10th until the All-Star break, Banchero averaged only 20.6 points per game. He shot only 40.6% from the floor and 28.9% from three. After hitting 53.3% of his 3 mid-range jumpers per game in the beginning of the season, he was only hitting 39.2% of his 5.2 mid-range jumpers during that time period. Ultimately, this is what the critics feared. This is why so many people didn't think Paolo was the guy. But if you watched him, and if you watched him a lot, you knew this was all the product of his injury. That this was all him still feeling himself out, getting his conditioning back, getting his legs back. And at a certain point, it just felt like this season's a complete wash. It's completely gone. Paolo's not going to get himself back to the level that we knew he could be at until he could get a little bit of a break and have the offseason. If anything, if that would have happened, this season would be a completely lost season. Because there is just no way for Paolo to show the growth that the Magic need from him if he's going to play like this. Then the All-Star break came. Paolo got away to a beach, got a nice little tan, But he told us that he was going to use that to regain his legs, to kind of reset himself. And since the All-Star break, Paolo Banchero is back. He is second in the league in scoring at 29.5 points per game. He's shooting 47.2% from the floor, 37.1% on 6.5 three-point attempts per game. Most of them dribble pull-ups and self-created shots. He's hitting 37.5% of his 4.3 mid-range attempts. So a little bit up on that, but hitting them at a better clip. He's averaging 5.5 field goal attempts per game in the restricted area, shooting better than 70% on those, and 9.5 free throw attempts per game since the All-Star break, third most in the league. Paolo Banchero is back to his superstar self. And while I may not be racking up the assists like he used to because this Magic team just doesn't make shots, when Paolo Banchero plays like this, he is nearly unstoppable. Just ask the Washington Wizards and the Magic's 120-105 victory. Paolo Banchero was hitting dirks. He was hitting step-back threes. When he missed a couple shots from mid-range or missed a couple pull-up shots, he attacked the basket, taking advantage of weaker and smaller defenders, waiting for double teams, and either blowing through them because the Wizards are not a good defensive team, or passing it out to open shooters, giving them the space to make shots. And yeah, the Magic made shots, making more than 40% of their threes, hitting 17 threes in total against the Wizards. The story of this month has been Paolo Banchero doing this more often. Paolo Banchero has 13 30-point games this season. 7 of them have come in the last 15 since the All-Star break. Banchero is scoring at this elite level regularly. And while the Magic are still struggling to pick up wins, admittedly a flaw in all of this, it is not for Paolo Banchero missing shots. It is not, except for the Minnesota game maybe. It is not for Paolo Banchero not doing his part. We're trying to find meaning in this season. It has been a disappointing season. It has been a season where the Magic did not meet expectations. It's been a season where the Magic as a group did not advance and grow the way they hoped. We can all freely admit that. We can all say that pretty unequivocally. That we expected more from the Magic and they haven't delivered. It's okay to say that. It's more than okay to say that. It's what it is. But what we're seeing now is the continuation of Paolo Banchero's superstar turn. We are seeing the continuation of Paolo Banchero becoming the player that you draft with the number 1 pick. The player that you build around. The player that leads you to playoff success. Now, who knows what this all looks like when I don't want to say if, but when the Magic make the playoffs this year. They'll be in a tough matchup. Their roster flaws will come to the surface. It may not be anything that we completely didn't know. But Paolo Banchero is good enough to give the Magic a chance. He is good enough to give this team the opportunity it needs to pull an upset. Because he is that good. And yeah, 30 points in 3 quarters. It doesn't matter who you're facing. 30 points in 3 quarters is really good. Shooting 11 for 22 is really good for a star of his usage. Knowing how to dominate a team like the Wizards, that's what stars do. And more, these 30-point games are feeling commonplace. Because Paolo Banchero is back on his superstar stuff. And that's the level the Magic need the rest of the season. But it can't just be Paolo. It obviously isn't just Paolo. Why Wendell Carter made the difference and why he is one of the many swing players for this team. Why Wendell Carter sets the tone for this Orlando Magic team. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends at Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who has delivered incredible results. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates are there for you to choose from. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork, UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on a few underdogs. There's so few of them left. FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on, and the FanDuel app is simple to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. There has obviously been a lot of frustration with Wendell Carter. Every team has a scapegoat, and it certainly feels like everybody has put all their frustrations on Wendell Carter. Now, having said that, even by his own admission, he has not had a good season. I'm not here to tell you Wendell Carter has been awesome and you're not seeing what I'm seeing. He's been bad. He has not been good. The shooting's been ineffective. The energy's been inconsistent. And despite Wendell Carter telling us these are the most, after the All-Star break, before the All-Star break, these are the most important 26 games of his career. And yes, he's shown some signs. The level of his play game to game has been inconsistent. And what Wendell Carter was supposed to be more than anything else was a rock. The Magic would know exactly what they're getting from him every single game. And unfortunately, his limitations, his injuries have seemingly made things very difficult for him. Just plain and simple, it's been hard. It's been really difficult. The difference in so many of these games for the Magic starts with Wendell Carter's energy. If the Magic know they're getting a good Wendell Carter game, that is a good sign they are about to win. In Friday's win over the Washington Wizards, Wendell Carter had 16 points, 7 for 13 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, 12 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, and 2 block shots. While he struggled a little bit with some communication issues defending Alex Sarr, who hit 3 threes, he had 2 in the first quarter. But he struggled a little bit with those communication issues with Alex Sarr. Once the Magic settled down defensively early in that first quarter, Wendell Carter got going. And the Magic got going because of it. Orlando did some different things to get Carter kind of into the game early. They ran him some plays with him in the dunker spot rather than hit the three-point line. I think he made a little bit more of an emphasis, especially early in the game, to cut to the basket rather than just post at the corner or post at the three-point line. He was looking to score around the basket. And look, some of that is, Alex Sarr is a big dude and a good shot blocker, but not someone anybody's afraid of quite yet. He's still a rookie. And the Magic were able to play that pretty well. Carter getting around the basket, Carter being a factor in the paint, especially early, built confidence in him and built confidence in the rest of the team. Because now Carter seems super engaged. Those blocks were not easy blocks. They were highlight reel blocks. And you can just tell, because Carter made those shots early, because he was playing around the basket early, you could tell Carter had like a spring in his step. He was a little bouncier, had a little bit more energy than he normally does. And this is going to be something the Magic have to focus on. Just like they try to get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope a mid-range jumper early, or they try to get Anthony Black going when he's in because he is such a swing player too. He had 13 points in this game. The Magic getting Wendell Carter going, or Wendell Carter engaged and into it and making some positive plays, because the other issue with Wendell right now is negative plays tend to compound for him. And that's a problem as well. Getting Wendell Carter to play this way makes such a huge difference for this Orlando Magic team. Getting Wendell Carter to play at a higher level, at a more energetic level, to be this involved, is so vital to the team. It's literally a swing stat for the Magic. The formula for the Orlando Magic to win right now is Paolo goes off, Franz goes off. You know what you're getting from each of them. You're getting probably more than 25 points from Paolo. You're going to get somewhere between 20 and 25 from Franz. The formula calls for somebody else to step up. They need somebody else to be in that 16 to 18 range, and then maybe two other guys to score more than 10. That's the formula, and then you add defense on top of it. That's the formula. It's not complex, and it's not easy with the roster the Magic have, but that's what they need every night. And it's a lot of pressure on Paolo and Franz. So anything you can do to relieve that pressure, have a jump off to the bodega with Wendell Carter there. Have Wendell Carter make a few shots. Have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hit a few shots. Having all of that just eases the pressure off the main guys, off of Paolo and Franz and everything that they do. When Wendell Carter plays like he played Friday night, and again, I get it's the Wizards. They're the worst defensive team in the league. They played like it. They didn't really double Paolo. They played bad defense. And look, it's still on the Magic, one of the worst offenses in the league, to hammer them for it. And they did. They hammered them. They led by as much as 33. I know the final score's 15. They led by as much as 33 and took the fourth quarter off. That's the truth. A lot of that's because Wendell Carter, team high plus 32 in the game. Wendell Carter dominated his position, dominated his spot. And when Wendell does that, the Magic are a more difficult team to beat. When the Magic get the best version of Wendell Carter, they are a really strong team because he is an excellent defender. He is a versatile defender. He is a solid rebounder when he is engaged like that. He is a versatile offensive player as well. And the Magic got that Friday night. The question is always, will they get it Monday night? Let's run through the rest of the box scores. We put this game to rest as the Orlando Magic defeat the Washington Wizards. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, I know I am, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in around a golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. I've been staying up late watching NBA action and tournament action, and 5 Hour Energy helps me keep up the next day because it's a lot. And look, I've been needing it. Thank you guys for letting me do morning episodes this week. I appreciate everyone who still tunes in. With longer days, I love getting outside for a hike or run. Tropical Burst is the go-to for a quick boost. And whether you're at a game or traveling, 5 Hour Energy is easy to grab and keeps you feeling refreshed. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find more than 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. And if you need one now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5 Hour Energy.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
So let's run through the rest of the box scores. The Orlando Magic defeat the Washington Wizards 120-105. This game was exactly what you expected. Washington hit threes early, and Orlando had to match, and that was not easy. Orlando was 3 for 9 in the first quarter on threes. Washington was 6 for 9. Orlando led 33-30. That was about it for the Wizards. You just kind of knew both teams were going to kind of come back to earth shooting-wise. They never did, actually. Washington shot 17 for 39. That's 43.6% from three. Orlando had to match them at 17 for 42. But the Wizards are really bad on defense, like really, 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 really bad. And the Magic played like just enough defense to beat them. Orlando had 48 points in the paint. They outscored them 48-38 in the paint. They had 24 fast break points. Washington actually scored 25. But let's not throw out the fourth quarter. Throwing out the fourth quarter, Orlando shot 52.1% through three quarters, 45.5% from three. That's 15 for 33. So they were 2 for 9 in the fourth. Again, who cares? Washington shot 37.9%. Orlando outscored Washington 36-22 in the paint through three quarters. They had 22 fast break points. Washington got a lot of fast break points. Got 10 fast break points in the fourth quarter. When the game was over, Orlando led by as much as 33. They led by 31 after three quarters. So the fourth quarter was a wash. Didn't matter. You know, Jamal Mosley probably wasn't happy that the lead got down to 15, but the Magic were never threatened. Some of that is just like, look at the lineup they were playing. They didn't play a center for a good chunk of that lineup. Tristan De Silva was a center. And despite what 2K tells you, he is not a center. This was a thorough domination. And Orlando came out focused. They made some mistakes defensively, but they adjusted really quickly. Put the hammer down, took the lead at the half, and then did what good teams are supposed to do against teams like the Wizards. They came out of the locker room in the third quarter and just dominated. Orlando had a 35-17 third quarter, and that was the game. That was it. They were done. They were just done. They doubled their lead, going from 13 to 31. They doubled their lead. They just dominated the quarter. Paolo Banchero had 10 points in each quarter, it felt like. He had 9 in the first, 11 in the second, 10 in the third. It was actually only 3 for 9 in the third. So it's starting to slow down, and all that talk about efficiency started to slow down a little bit, started to settle. The game was really about patience and poise. And yeah, Paolo kind of got into his bag. I was like, I'm just going to try things because I can. We're playing on easy mode right now. Let's just joke around. And then when we need to get serious, like the Harlem Globetrotters, we'll get serious. I don't love that approach. But look, the Magic were able to do it. All 5 starters scored double figures. Paolo at 30. Franz Wagner at 21. Franz has been really struggling with his shot lately. Those flip shots and layups weren't going in for him. They were all going in this game. 21 points, 9 for 18 shooting, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. A really nice game from Franz. Really loved the way that he played. Was very patient attacking the basket. Very patient getting to his spots, getting to his shots. And mostly shooting them on balance, still a little off balance on some. Corey Joseph, 11 points, 3 for 6 shooting from 3. Solid, dependable. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope bounced back from a rough game Monday. 11 points, 4 for 6 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3. He continues to shoot very well. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is over 40% since March 1st. That's like 10 games now. He is playing very well. He's starting to make threes more regularly. And I know Monday's game was frustrating, but the Magic are getting him shots. He's being more aggressive. He's looking for mid-range shots a little bit more, which he's been very good at. And he's making open threes when he gets them. He missed 1 open 3 in this game, but he's become the player the Magic hoped they were getting. Better late than never. And I think it's a good sign for the Magic. I think that's why they're getting a little bit of an offensive boost. The bench was a little bit rough, but Anthony Black had 13 points on 5 for 7 shooting, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for him. He did have 5 turnovers, but I believe most of them came in the fourth. 2 of them came in the fourth. Black was good, was aggressive. He's a lot more confident as a shooter. He made his only 3 of the game. Looking to get downhill to the basket. Usually plays well against Wizards. Played well in this game. I don't have much to complain. But again, just like the Magic's issue is going to be their bench is really spotty. Caleb Houston scored 6. Tristan Da Silva had 9. Jet Howard had 3 in the fourth quarter. That deep bench group really, really got hit hard by the Wizards' deep bench group. But again, I'm not worried about fourth quarter stuff in this game. The Magic were just that much better than the Wizards overall. Orlando shoots 47.9% for the game, 17 for 42 from 3. So they continue a really strong record. I believe they are now 18-5 in games where they shoot better than 35% from 3. And again, remind you, 35% from 3 is just 18th in the league. It is just continuing to be a fact that if the Magic were even just average from 3 or slightly below average from 3, their offense would be functional. It'd be fine. They'd be able to win a lot of games. So it's a sign that the Magic need shooting, but not as much shooting as we think. Getting some guys healthy will help. Orlando has 13 offensive rebounds. They just dominate every facet of this game. They forced 15 turnovers for 20 points. Again, 25 fast break points. Orlando does the job. I mean, that's the only way I could say it. They went to Washington, faced a bad team, took care of their business, and now they're going home, get a couple days off before they face the Lakers on Monday. The Orlando Magic defeat the Washington Wizards 120-105, game where the shots went in. Everybody's feeling good. You take care of your business, and now you see if you can take care of some more business. Interesting back-to-back Monday, Tuesday with the Lakers and the Hornets, then a 3-game homestand, and then we're really in the final kick to the season with a road trip to San Antonio. I believe they go to Washington after that. Then they have a little bit of a break before they do that final 4 games of the season. Atlanta, Boston, back-to-back at home, and then at Indiana, at Atlanta to close the season. So we're in the final kick here. Orlando is still 1 game back of the Atlanta Hawks for 7th. They face the Hawks twice, so in range for that. You don't want to have to rely on getting both of those wins, but both of those wins would be nice. In range to catch the Hawks. Hawks play the Warriors on Saturday. We'll see them again later. And again, if the Magic stack up wins, they'll ultimately be fine. Again, the Magic defeat the Wizards 120-105, back in action Monday against the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. Find me on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all family style podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic, and on Instagram at Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done listening to us, be sure to go subscribe to the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter. It's the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. For Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Phil Prosper-Knight. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.